We've heard about being called the temples of God. We heard that. In the first reading, we heard the call to be holy. Sister Jane from St. Agnes said, you should always carry a newspaper in one hand. I'm not sure if she's very good with iPads. And the Bible in the other. So let's recap. There have been 12 mass shootings this weekend. 11 dead, 69 injured. In Illinois, Jersey, Ohio, Indiana, South Carolina, Virginia, Texas, and Minnesota. The definition for mass is 4 or more people killed or wounded by gunfire. The gospel that Deacon Dwight proclaimed speaks those words about how we respond to evil, how we respond to that which is so terrible. When somebody wants to disregard another person, when somebody wants to trample over the rights of other people, how we're supposed to respond. Supposed to be holy. I was flying back on Wednesday from England and I watched a wonderful film about John Lewis, the state representative and civil rights activist. If you haven't seen it, it is a wonderful, wonderful film. And I just thought, when he had his funeral back in 2020, President George W. Bush was there. And he told some really interesting stories. He says, John's story began in a tiny farm in Troy, Alabama. A place so small, he said, you can barely find it on a map. President Bush did some research, and he found out that every morning John would rise before the sun when he was a child to tend a flock of chickens. So he's about the age of your son. He loved those chickens. Already called to be a minister who took care of others, John fed them and tended to their every need, even their spiritual ones. John baptized them, he married them, and he preached to them. When his parents claimed one for the family supper, John refused to eat one of his flock. Going hungry was his first act of non-violent protest. He also noticed in later years that his first congregation of chickens listened to him more closely than to his colleagues in Congress. John also thought that chickens were a little more productive. At least they produced eggs. From Troy to the sit-ins of Nashville. From the Freedom Rides to the March on Washington. From Freedom Summer to Selma, John Lewis always looked outward. He always thought of others. He always thought of preaching the gospel in word and deed, insisting that hate and fear had to be faced with love and hope. John Lewis believed in the Lord. He believed in humanity, and he believed in America. He's been called an American saint, a believer, willing to give up everything, even life itself, to bear witness to the truth that drove him all his life, that we could build a world of peace and justice, harmony and dignity and love. And the first crucial step on that journey was the recognition that all people are born in the image and the likeness of God and carry a divine spark within them. But those aren't my words, those are the words of President George W. Bush, reminding us of what we heard in the gospel, reminding our two children who will get baptized today that they too are created in the image and likeness of God. And hopefully that we, as a faith community on the verge of Lent starting on Wednesday, that we will deepen our relationship with God so that we will, through His strength, His guidance, His grace, look upon others, not as enemies or foe, but an opportunity and a call to love. Please like, subscribe, or comment below.